July 18, 2021. The morning mist still clung to the pines when Ranger Marcus Fuller spotted something unusual through his binoculars. The porch light of cabin 17 was on, even though the reservation system showed it should be vacant. With wildfire season at its peak, routine checks were more frequent, especially for remote properties like this one, nestled so deep in the Smoky Mountains that cell reception disappeared 3 miles back. Fuller's radio crackled. Base to Fuller. Checking your 20. Approaching Whispering Pines property, he replied, the gravel crunching beneath his boots. Lights on at cabin 17. System shows it should be empty. Want backup? Fuller squinted at the cabin. Nothing seemed amiss beyond the light. Negative. Probably just the cleaning crew forgot to switch it off. I'll check and report back. As he approached, the stillness struck him. No car. No sounds. Just the occasional snap of a twig under his weight and distant birdsong. The porch steps creaked as he climbed them, knocking firmly on the door. Park service. Anyone home? No answer. Fuller tried the doorknob. Locked. He fished out the master key, a necessity for emergency access. The door swung open, releasing a wave of cold, stale air. Hello, he called again, his voice bouncing off wooden walls. The interior was dim despite the morning hour, heavy curtains blocking most of the sunlight. But even in the half-light, Fuller could see something was wrong. A chair lay toppled. A lampshade crooked. And on the floor by the kitchen area. Dispatch, Fuller's voice cracked slightly, I'm going to need police at cabin 17. Possible 10 to 54. 10 minutes passed before Fuller emerged from the cabin, his face ashen. The discovery would haunt him for months afterward, a man sprawled on his back, eyes fixed on the ceiling, a pool of dried blood surrounding his head like a grotesque halo. Nearby, a cast iron skillet rested on the stove, recently washed. The victim was identified as Travis Mead, 36, a freelance programmer from Austin, Texas. According to his online calendar, he should have been home, not in a remote cabin in Tennessee. According to the cabin booking system, nobody should have been in the cabin at all. Detective Eliza Weaver arrived by noon, her SUV kicking up dust as it navigated the narrow access road. At 43, she'd spent 15 years with the county police, the last 7 handling homicides. But something about this scene immediately struck her as unusual. Single entry point, she asked the first officer on site. Yes, ma'am. Door was locked from inside. Windows all secure. Weaver nodded, pulling on latex gloves. And the victim's been identified? Travis Mead. Programmer from Texas. Been dead about 4 days according to preliminary assessment. For days, Weaver repeated, surveying the scene. And nobody missed him. The officer shrugged. Had a virtual client call he missed. They emailed, but no real alarm bells. His roommate thought he was visiting family. Inside, the cabin smelled of pine, blood, and something else, the unmistakable scent of secrets. Weaver moved methodically through the space, taking in details. The kitchen was clean. Too clean. The cast iron skillet gleamed like new. No prints, not even smudges. Someone had meticulously wiped it down. Who cleans a murder weapon and puts it back? Weaver murmured. She moved to the living area where Travis's body had been found. Blood spatter analysis would later show he'd been struck while sitting, then fallen back. The blow had been precise, forceful, delivered by someone who either knew what they were doing or got very lucky. Detective? A young officer approached, holding up a plastic evidence bag. Found this buried under firewood out back. A phone. Powered off. Let's get this to tech immediately, Weaver said. And check the perimeter again. Whoever did this was careful. I want to know exactly how they came and went without leaving traces. Back at the station, the phone yielded one crucial piece, a text message to someone listed simply as X. Agreed. No one finds out. I'll be there. Cryptic, remarked Officer Martinez, Weaver's partner for the case. Think it's about a meetup at the cabin? Possibly. But why here? Why so remote? Weaver frowned, tapping her pen against the desk. And how did our victim even know about this place? That question led them to Travis's email, where deleted messages revealed a thread titled, "Private Contract Opportunity, No Tech Traces." The job offer was bizarrely specific, $25,000 for 1 week off-grid, with an NDA required and location provided only after acceptance. 25 grand for a week's work. Martinez whistled. What kind of programming job pays that well for such a short stint? The illegal kind, Weaver said grimly. Or the dangerous kind? Maybe both. The email had come from a temporary encrypted address that self-destructed within 48 hours. The tech team tried to trace it, but the trail vanished into a maze of anonymous rerouting. Meanwhile, another detective tracked Travis's recent purchases and found the cabin rental. The profile used seemed legitimate, complete with photo ID and credit card verification, but the identity belonged to a man who died in Colorado 6 months earlier. Someone went to extraordinary lengths to set this up, Weaver noted, staring at the caseboard. They created a fake rental profile, somehow accessed the cabin owner's credentials, and lured Travis here with a high-paying job offer. Premeditated, Martinez agreed. But if they planned to kill him all along, why offer real money? His bank shows a $12,500 deposit, half the promised amount. Maybe they needed him to do something first, Weaver suggested. Something worth 12 grand. The cabin itself held more questions than answers. Forensics found a laptop with no hard drive, as if someone had physically removed it after use. A printed contract signed by Travis had the other party's name redacted with heavy black marker, not just on the signature line, but everywhere it appeared in the document. A voice recorder lay on the bedside table, its memory card missing. Most peculiar was a handwritten note tucked into a book of ghost stories on the shelf. It was supposed to be fake. But he recognized me. The writing didn't match Travis's. Nor did it match any samples from the cabin owner, her family, or the cleaning service. What was supposed to be fake? Weaver wondered aloud. The job? The contract? Or something else entirely, Martinez suggested. Like an identity. 3 days into the investigation, a park technician checking trail cameras for wildlife monitoring discovered something unexpected, an image from 2 nights before Travis's death. A hooded figure carrying what appeared to be a microphone boom pole, walking toward the cabin area at 2:03 a.m. What's someone doing with recording equipment in the middle of the night? Martinez asked, squinting at the grainy image. Better question, how did they get there? Weaver pointed out. No vehicle was captured on any of the road cameras. No ride services drop-offs. It's a 12-mile hike from the nearest public road. The case grew more perplexing as they dug into Travis's background. By all accounts, he was an ordinary freelance programmer, reasonably successful, no criminal record, no known enemies. His projects were mostly legitimate business applications, nothing that would attract dangerous attention. But in the weeks before his death, his roommate reported subtle changes. He seemed anxious, Jordan Kelly told Weaver during an interview at their Austin apartment. Checking his phone more often. Taking calls outside where I couldn't hear. I assumed it was a new girlfriend or something. Any new friends? People you hadn't seen before? Jordan thought for a moment. There was someone who came by about a month ago. Said they were an old college friend passing through town. Travis seemed surprised to see them, but not in a bad way. Can you describe this person? Average height. Dark hair. Wore sunglasses the whole time, even inside, which I thought was weird. Said they had light sensitivity. Travis introduced them as Alex, but they didn't stay long. Maybe 20 minutes. Did you overhear any of their conversation? Not really. They kept their voice low. But when they left, Travis looked. I don't know, shaken. When I asked who that was, he just said, someone I haven't seen in a long time. Weaver made a note. Alex. Could be our mysterious ex. Another breakthrough came when they located the coffee shop where Travis had last used his laptop before leaving for the cabin. Security footage showed him meeting someone, a figure in a baseball cap whose face never clearly appeared on camera. They exchanged what looked like a thumb drive, after which Travis left quickly, checking over his shoulder repeatedly. He was nervous, Weaver observed. Whatever he agreed to, it wasn't sitting well with him. The pieces were forming a pattern, but the picture remained incomplete. A programmer hired for an off-grid job. A mysterious client who covered their tracks meticulously. Recording equipment. A stolen identity. Identity theft, Weaver said suddenly, her eyes widening. What if this wasn't about Travis at all? What if it was about becoming Travis? The team shifted focus, examining Travis's online presence, financial accounts, and professional credentials. As a freelancer with established client relationships and spotless reputation, his digital identity had value. Furthermore, he had security clearances for government-adjacent contract work, clearances that could be worth a fortune to the right buyer. So our theory is someone hired Travis to help them steal his identity? Martinez frowned. Why would he agree to that? Maybe he didn't know that was the real job, Weaver countered. The initial contract could have been legitimate, or seemed that way. But once isolated at the cabin, she let the implication hang in the air. On the 5th day of investigation, they caught a break. A hiker reported finding a waterproof bag wedged between rocks near a stream, about a mile from the cabin. Inside, a memory card, a small external hard drive, and a voice recorder identical to the one found in the cabin. The memory card contained audio files, hours of Travis speaking random phrases, reading passages from books, answering questions about his childhood, his mother's maiden name, his first pet. It was a voice dataset, the kind used to create deepfake audio. They were sampling his voice, the tech analyst explained. With enough clean audio, you can create convincing synthetic speech that passes biometric verification. The hard drive proved more illuminating. While most files were encrypted beyond their immediate ability to access, some photographs remained visible, close-up shots of Travis's eyes, detailed images of his fingerprints taken while he appeared to be sleeping, scans of his driver's license and passport. This goes beyond simple identity theft, Weaver realized. This is complete impersonation. Digital, physical, biometric, everything needed to become Travis Meade. The voice recorder held one final, chilling clue, a partial recording, apparently made accidentally during the confrontation that led to Travis's death. Can't just walk away now. You agreed to the terms. A voice, electronically distorted. That wasn't the deal. Travis's voice, shaking with anger or fear. I agreed to security consultancy work, not this. You're stealing my entire life. Lower your voice. No one can hear you anyway. I know who you are. The glasses, the voice changer, they don't matter. I recognized you at the coffee shop. You're. The recording cut off. He recognized his killer, Weaver said softly. That's why he had to die. The handwritten note suddenly made sense, it was supposed to be fake. But he recognized me. Travis had identified his client, violating the careful anonymity that had been established. Whatever operation was underway could not risk exposure. With this new understanding, Weaver assembled her team to re-examine every detail. If Travis recognized his killer, they must have met before. The mysterious Alex who visited his apartment became the prime suspect. But despite enhanced analysis of the coffee shop footage and canvassing the area with photos of Travis, no witnesses could positively identify his companion. It was as if this person moved through the world leaving minimal traces, a ghost in an increasingly digital age. 1 week after the discovery of Travis's body, the case took another bizarre turn. A small tech company in Seattle reported that Travis Mead had applied for and been offered a remote position with them, 3 days after his confirmed death. The interview was conducted entirely online, the HR director explained. Video call, coding test, the works. He passed with flying colors. When shown a photograph of the deceased Travis, she nodded. That's him. That's exactly who we interviewed. Digital forensics confirmed someone had created a sophisticated deepfake, using Travis's appearance and synthesized voice to conduct a live interview. The company's offer letter had been redirected to an anonymous email address. They're not just stealing his identity, Martinez realized. They're continuing his career. Weaver nodded grimly. With his security clearances, they could access sensitive systems. With his professional reputation, they could move freely in spaces requiring trust. The case expanded beyond local jurisdiction, bringing in federal agencies. Travis Mead was no longer just a murder victim, he was potentially the key to a sophisticated security breach. 2 weeks after the murder, the trail remained frustratingly cold. No fingerprints. No DNA. No clear images of suspects. The only physical evidence was the trail cam photo of the hooded figure with what appeared to be recording equipment. Except. That's not a microphone boom, said a federal analyst, examining the enhanced image. That's a parabolic dish microphone. Long-range audio surveillance. They were recording him from outside the cabin, Weaver realized. Before they ever made direct contact. The question remained, who would go to such elaborate lengths? Corporate espionage seemed plausible, given Travis's access to proprietary systems. Foreign intelligence couldn't be ruled out, considering his government-adjacent contracts. Or perhaps something more personal, someone from Travis's past with both motive and technical ability. The investigation continued, but the cabin itself became something of a local legend. After the owner removed it from rental listings, rumors spread. Hikers reported seeing lights inside, though the electricity had been disconnected. Rangers insisted the padlocked cabin remained untouched during their regular checks. Most disturbing was the guest book, secured inside a weatherproof box on the porch. During a final inspection before the property was to be sold, a ranger discovered a new entry, dated 3 months after Travis's death, written in handwriting identical to the note found in the ghost story book. I know how this story ends. I just didn't think I'd be in it. Detective Weaver still visits the case board in the quiet hours, adding new theories, removing others. The files remain open on her desk. Sometimes she stares at the image of the hooded figure, carrying equipment through the dark forest at 2:03 a.m., and wonders what voice it captured in the night. What secrets it recorded. What identity it stole. And sometimes, when she can't sleep, she wonders about the person who became Travis Mead, living his life, using his credentials, speaking with his synthesized voice. She wonders if somewhere, behind a screen, those stolen eyes are watching the investigation unfold. The cabin stands empty now. The porch light doesn't work. But locals swear they've seen it on, glowing softly in the mountain mist, even though the power lines were cut last winter. And deep in digital systems, someone using Travis Mead's credentials continues to work, continues to get paid, continues to exist, as if the real Travis never died at all.